Okay, so my two canners are going, as I'm sure you can hear in the background. I am doing the Italian beef. I got 10 pints of that going. I also have my freeze dryer going, and it's pretty noisy. It's right smack dab in the middle of my dining room, in the middle of my house, and I have an open concept home. So anyway, so lots of noise going on. Just making sure my mic was on. I forget that all the time, get halfway through a video and realize you've not heard a word I've said, but you see me and no sound. So anyway, so we're good there. You're hearing me. Okay, so I decided, yesterday I bought 2 rotisserie chickens at Sam's. They're $4.99 and they're always nice and big, lots of meat on them. You can't go wrong for that price. I always buy 2 at a time, and we eat dinner, and then I pick the meat off all the bones and make bone broth. So that has been going for like 24 hours. I had to get that out of there. I used my canner because it's a big one, and I think it's 9 quarts, and it has a slow cooker function. So I did that for 24 hours about, and then I had to empty that out because I needed my canner. So I have a mess going on, so forgive the mess. But I've got that great big wash tub, more than half full of chicken broth. And then I picked the chicken off the bone, and I am going to make some wild rice, chicken and wild rice soup. It's a really quick throw together soup. So I've got chicken broth in here already. I am going to add the meat that I picked off the bone from the bone broth. And that looks like plenty. This is a 3-quart size can. I could make it in a big stock pot if I wanted to, but my husband's not a big soup eater. So, and since my weight loss surgery, the maximum that will fit in my stomach is about 3/4 to 1 cup at a time. So this amount of soup would take me weeks to finish, literally a couple of weeks. So I'm going to make this full, keep what I want, about 1/4 or so, and then I will give the rest of it to my daughter and son-in-law. They love my chicken and my turkey soups. So here we go. So we've got chicken in the broth, and I am going to add, most of what I'm doing is from the pantry, so this is certainly a pantry challenge meal, except for the chicken I bought at Sam's yesterday. But I'm going to put in a handful and a half of carrots. That was probably a good half a cup of carrots. Again, remember, this is only a 3-quart can. And I have dehydrated, that was freeze-dried carrots. These are dehydrated mushrooms. I prefer freeze-dried carrots, and I prefer dehydrated mushrooms, so that's how I do them. So, and I like to break them up because freeze-dried mushrooms are real spongy and squishy whenever they're rehydrated, and dehydrated mushrooms are a little tough. So if you break them up into small pieces, you don't even notice that. I'm going to throw in some dehydrated celery. Is that not like just beautiful stuff? I mean, seriously. Looks just like celery. Tastes just like celery. Smells just like celery. So again, probably a half a cup of that. So if you were making a normal size Dutch oven worth, you'd probably be doubling this recipe. I also am a big fan of celery leaf. And when you buy this in the store, it's called celery flakes. I have always bought celery flakes in the store, and since COVID, I have not been able to find them anywhere that I have searched. Online, anywhere. So I'm freeze drying my own celery, so I search for the celery with lots of leaves on it whenever I buy celery to freeze dry, and then I do the leaf myself. So I'm just going to put in maybe 1/8 of a cup of celery leaves. There is so much flavor in the leaves. So don't throw them away. Put them in the freezer, or chop them up and put them in the freezer, or Dry them. They dehydrate okay, but the flavor's not quite as strong. Maybe 1/4 cup of brown rice. And then I'm going to use a full 1/3 cup of wild rice. This is simply wild rice. It's not a mix or anything else. These are the dark brown rice pieces you see within brown rice mixes, or wild rice mixes. And this is actually, I don't know if it's a grain or a seed. It's probably a seed, but it's not really rice. That's not an actual rice product, even though it's called wild rice. So I'm going to dump that in there. And I get that from Azure Standard. I'll leave a link to that below. And let's give it a stir. I am probably going to have to add a little more broth to this once that rice starts cooking up. Well, look, I didn't even turn on my stove. That could be why it didn't seem to be getting hot. Duh. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add broth to that because I can tell I'm going to need it. All right. That ought to do. And again, this is a 3-quart Dutch oven. I love this Dutch oven. I got this from Walmart. It is a Pioneer Woman. I've got a couple of her just plain cast iron. This is a cast iron, enamel covered cast iron. And is it enamel or porcelain? Enamel, I think. I don't know. Anyway, whatever they are. And I got this from Walmart. It was at, I've only seen it at a couple of Walmarts, but I think you can get it at walmart.com. I think I paid $25 for it. And I believe it was on sale when I got it. I think they're $29 normally. But anyway, I love this thing. It's the perfect size for 2 people. And it's a great soup pot for me since I'm the main soup eater here and I can't eat very much at any given point in time. It's awesome. So I'm going to, oh, you know what? I didn't add any seasoning. Again, duh. Okay. I got so much going on in my kitchen. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just going to use maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of crushed rosemary. I grew this from my garden. I am going to use just maybe, golly, just a little bit, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon maybe, of herbes de Provence because they are very strong. And I've got some freeze-dried onions that I dried here. And probably I would say that's the equivalent of a medium onion, small onion to medium onion. Probably a small onion. And then I'm going to add Celine's house seasoning. I use this in absolutely everything. I'm going to bang here. Sorry. But it was caking up. This is my homemade house seasoning. All it is, as I know you've heard me say this 100 times, it's just steak seasoning. I use Aldi brand, but you can use any kind. And onion powder and garlic powder all put together in a spice grinder, and that's it. Okay, let's give it a little taste and see if it needs anything. Very good, but I can think of one thing I missed, and that's poultry seasoning. I'm just going to give that a little shake. That's probably 1/2 teaspoon, no more. Poultry seasoning is a little strong as well, so you don't want to get too crazy with that. And that's it, because the chicken's already cooked. If I were using regular white rice with this, I'd say just let it, let it simmer and then turn it on low for 20-30 minutes and you're done. But because we used brown rice and the wild rice takes about 55 minutes. So I'm going to say I'm going to let this come to a good simmer. I'm going to turn it on low and I'm just going to let it simmer on low for an hour, and it should be ready, and it is amazing. When it's done, we'll come back and we'll taste it, and you're going to love it. So, soup is ready. Let's dish some up. Chow time.